Good morning, everyone. Good morning to Masterful Mornings. I am pretty excited today, as always, to have you join me. I'm just getting set up now, and I'm waiting for some people to jump in and be a part of this great video that I'm sharing this morning. And today's Masterful Mornings. For those of you that are just joining in for the first time, good morning, Rishma. Good morning, Joanne. For those of you that are just joining, I want you to think of me like your mastery broker. I am like someone who is going to bring you information. Good morning, Nancy, about your mastery. Right? So I am your mastery broker. I'm going to always bring you new knowledge and how to bring forth your mastery. Okay. So I do this in lots of different ways while I'm waiting for some people to jump on. Good morning, Michael. And number one, I work with groups of people and I do this in workshops. Okay. I've got a great one coming up in Tuscany in Italy. If you want to know about that, let me know. It's coming in September. And, I also share these masterful mornings. I work with my coach, with my clients one-on-one, and I've got some group stuff going on. So I love to spread the word of mastery. Why? Because we are so capable of so many things. We are absolutely unstoppable. Okay. And we just think and believe that we are not. So this morning, I'm going to talk to you about one of my techniques that I like to use with people. Good morning, Rob. One of my techniques that I love to use with people when we are creating an awakening mastery. Now, one of the things that I want to talk to you about first before I bring this in is awakening. Okay, I'm just going to briefly talk about this for a minute. We hear this all the time. If you haven't, you know, maybe the friends that you're hanging around with, are not really connected in the way that they should be or could be. We'll go with that. Awakening or waking up or the shift, this stuff that we keep hearing in these different phrases that we're using. It sounds beautiful. It sounds wonderful. It sounds like we're opening up to things. This is causing problems for a lot of people. All right. And I will tell you why, because it's a bit of an identity crisis. All right. Because you are used to one way of being, good or bad, you're used to it. And now something else is coming in. Something in you is changing. Something inside you is waking up and knocking on the door. And you're like, I don't know what this is. People are fearful of the unknown. Okay, we like to stay and stew in our negativity, no matter how crappy it feels, because we know it, because it's predictable, because it's certain, because we know exactly what's going to happen there. All right, so this is the trap. It's a trap. It keeps us chained to our past. And most of the population, most of humanity lives in the past. We wake up in the morning living in the past. And I'll tell you how that happens. We wake up in the morning and we think about some stuff, right? So we get up in the morning and we have thoughts begin to run through our head. And usually there are problems. Usually there's stuff that we have to deal with. And I know that if you're going to say to me, I always think of really great things in the morning. Good for you. I'm talking about most of the people, but I will say good for you and awesome. That's amazing. But most of us wake up and we're thinking about our problems. We're remembering something. We're thinking about the stuff we have to do that day. You get up, you get out of your bed like you always do every morning. You run through your morning routine. Maybe you go to the bathroom, you make yourself a cup of coffee, you get ready for work. You're doing stuff that you always do. All right. Let me just rephrase. So now we're usually thinking about what we have to do that day. And we're like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to deal with the kids, and oh my God, I got to see my aunt. And the last time I saw her, blah, blah, blah. So we start thinking this stuff. What ends up happening is, number one, we're living a rerun. Okay, number one, you're rerunning your life every single day. We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. And what if I told you that 90% of those thoughts are just the same thoughts you thought yesterday? Right? The same thoughts that you thought yesterday. So a few things are changing. Some new events are happening today, but generally speaking, you're doing the same thing every day. So what does that mean for you? A predictable past creates a predictable future. You want change, but you're not changing anything. Okay? You can't just sit and wish for it. Okay? Not like that. All right? There is a way to manifest it, but certainly not by just thinking like, oh, I want to make a change, but nothing changes. And then you feel stuck because you're living the same life over and over and over again every single day. And unless you love that life 100% and you are so happy with it, there's no fulfillment in that. Right? There's no fulfillment in that. But even if you are happy with it, you still want to grow. You still want to expand. You still want to make it bigger and better and more impactful. Right? So how can we do this? Now, we've heard about meditation, right? We always hear, go meditate. When you want to change something, you have to meditate a little differently. You can't just sit there in silence in the nothingness. Okay? You have to have a focused meditation. All right. You need to go through a focused meditation, but then there's another step you do, which is what we're going to talk about today. So I'm just giving you guys a little bit of preamble here. So when you want to change your state of being, when you want to change something, you have this great tool that you need to utilize. But here's the thing with it. When you use this tool, the biggest thing you have to remember is repetition, okay? Doing it over and over and over again and allowing it to expand and take a life of its own on. Remember when you learned to tie your shoe? Let's just use that as an example. Or ride a bike. Okay, so you're learning to ride a bike and you've got training wheels on and you're wibbling and wobbling all over the place. You know, you're falling down, all this stuff is happening. And then at some point, you can just now jump on that bike. You could stand on the seat and drive it. You see people doing all kinds of ramp work and doing dirt biking and stuff, right? So all of a sudden you become a master of the bike. All right. It's the same with tying your shoes. At first you fumbled through it. And now all of a sudden you don't have to think about it. And you're just tying your shoes while you're doing and thinking about 30,000 other things. Okay. Because repetition is key. Repetition. You want to repeat things until it feels like you already know it. It's already done. Okay. So when we're meditating, right? When we're meditating, I want you to think of yourself almost go to a special place. I like to go to a special place. So there's a few places that I go. As soon as I close my eyes, I don't think that I am in meditation right away. Okay. Number one little point is if you look up, I'm going to do it with my eyes open for a second. So if you look up, imagine you're looking at that space between the wall and the ceiling. Okay, you know, maybe you have some crown molding there or something. So that line, I don't want you to look so far up that it's disturbing, like it feels bad, but just a little bit up. Close your eyes, but have your eyes looking up a little bit behind your eyelids. Why do I want you to do this? Okay, because it's a trigger for the brain to take you into that deeper, relaxed state, what I call alpha, what everybody else would call trance. It sort of signals the brain to take you into that deeper, relaxed space. Good morning, David. And Tantri and Basti, I can see that you're there too on the podcast. Great. So now you're relaxing. Now go to a special place. There's 2 or 3 places that I like to go. One, sometimes I see myself sitting on the top of a mountain. I actually, in my mind, see myself climbing the mountain. Sometimes I don't know what's going to be there when I get there. Okay. So I'm climbing the mountain. That's how I begin my meditation. I get to the mountain and I sit there. Right. And then I go into the next step that I'm going to talk to you about. Sometimes I'm like floating in space. I don't have this body anymore. I'm just floating in space. I'm just out there. I can see planets. And I don't want to even look at the earth. I don't want to even think about the earth. I am just out there, planets, stars, suns. I'm just out there. And I'm just noticing how I'm just free. Okay. So that's another place that I like to go. And the third place I like to go is I have been in that life between lifetimes. In my past life regressions, I take myself to this life between lifetimes, and there's a place there that I have seen myself meditate. So that's another place that I like to go. I've seen it. I know how to get there. So that's another place that I go. Your place might be a forest walk that you do. It could be a peaceful backyard or garden that you have that is so peaceful for you, and that's where you like to be. It could be that it's on a beach, a private beach. It could be some place that you completely made up in your mind, or it could be some place that you actually go that is very peaceful for you. So I love using imagination because it's this awesome tool that we have. But the really cool thing about imagination is once you've imagined something, it's no longer imagination. It's now a memory. Okay? This is a key thing that I'm telling you right now. So our imagination, remember when you were a child. Okay? Remember when you were a child and you could do anything. You could be anywhere. You could move mountains. You could be a superhero. There was nothing that you couldn't do when a child goes into their imagination, right? We still have the exact same imagination. The problem is, the struggle is that we use it for other things now. We use it to plan what we're going to do that day. We use it to plan what's happening for dinner, for an event. We use it to plan things, okay? What's dinner going to look like? What am I making? You can almost see it on the plate. This is what we use our imagination for. So when people come to me and they go, I can't imagine, I'm like, you do it all day. So we're always imagining something. You're imagining a road trip, what it would be like to go on to that vacation that you want to go to, what it's going to be like when you guys get on the plane, right? So we imagine it, but a lot of times we also imagine the worst case scenario. Okay, because we're working with our past information, our past programming. I know I'm kind of doing this piece one-on-one when I'm talking about the past, but we can talk about that on another day, but you're working with this past programming. So we are programmed to think of the worst case scenario, those what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? Right? So we go into these what ifs. There is, first of all, no rule in this entire planet or world or universe that says what ifs have to be negative. What ifs can be completely positive. What if amazing things happen, right? So we, for some reason, always want to go into the darkness because it's predictable. We worry about worst case scenarios. So when we imagine these worst case scenarios happening, have you ever thought about something? You're going to go see Uncle Joe. I'm just making stuff up now, or your dad or somebody, and you have confrontation with them quite often. And then all of a sudden you start thinking about, oh, I'm going to go there. I'm going to tell them this, and then they're going to say this to me, and then I'm going to say that back. And you start creating this scene in your head of what's going to happen, and then you start feeling it, right? Good morning, Shannon. You start to feel it. Okay, you can actually start to feel this emotion of this thing that never even actually happened yet. Okay, so I know I've done it lots of times, and everybody I ask has done this lots of times. So that means if you can do that for a negative situation, you can do the exact same thing for a positive situation, for a positive outcome. Okay? I hope this makes sense to you. Good morning, Sue. So what I want you to do is when you go to this special place, you start to imagine what you want. What is that going to look like? What is it going to feel like? What happens in this space, right? The one challenge that people have is I don't know what it's going to feel like because I never had that thing. So I don't know what that would feel like, right? There's been a time in all of our lives, even if it's been for a brief moment, where we felt a lot of happiness and gratitude and thankfulness, okay? It's never a bad thing to go to the feeling of gratitude and thankfulness, okay? So go there, right? We all have people that we love in our lives. Feel that love, not the person. Allow yourself to feel that love. Bring that feeling into it. So if all else fails, bring in the feeling of love, bring in the feeling of gratitude and thankfulness, and just see it unfold in front of you. And remember, you are imagining. So The possibilities are endless. Never feel greedy about this. Go in there and make exactly what you want, right? Go in there and see it like you already have it. See it. We do the exact same thing when we're planning for things when we're thinking about worst case scenarios. I'm asking you to use a superpower that you have already, but just redirect it. Change the focus of the light, the flashlight beam. Okay, not from worst case scenario, but to what you want, into a positive case scenario, into the best case scenario. Okay. Now, I find that when I go into this space, sometimes, many times, because I get a lot of downloads, so many times that space starts to take on a life of its own. And even though I kind of imagined certain things and I started putting certain things into place about what I want to manifest into my world, what I want to create in my world, other things begin to happen to make it even better, to make it even bigger, to make it even more amazing, right? And just go with it, like go with that flow, allow it, like, just say, oh my God, that would be great too. And what if I added this? And just start to build this creation. Okay. Our body and our brain are programmed to our past experiences. They're patternings. There are already neural networks for every place you've been, every person you know, every situation you've ever been in. There is a neural network for that. Now you're creating some new neural networks. Okay, now you're creating some new things. Now I know that you're saying, but Aisha, it's in my imagination. Well, here's the really cool piece. Our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and fake. Okay? It doesn't know the difference. So if you're in your imagination and you are living this reality that you keep repeating every time you go into this meditation, right? Your subconscious believes this to be real. Okay. And now you're starting to really create something here because everything starts to change in your world. Now, I know I called this the healing pen, the creative pen. What's the really cool thing that you can do after you come out of meditation? Make sure that your journal is close by. I want you to write down everything you saw. I want you to write down everything that you experienced, but I want you to write it as if it already happened. So for instance, if I said to you, Bridget, Jennifer, if I said to you, Basti, pick up a piece of a pen and paper and write down what happened to you yesterday. Everything that happened to you yesterday. Now it's easy for you to do because it already happened, right? So what I want you to do in this journal, right, your creativity, your mastery journal, what I would like you to do is write about what you saw just like that, like it already happened. Okay, you're going to write about it like it already happened. Not, I hope this is going to happen. I really wished for this. I saw this. No, not like that. You are going to write it as if it already happened. Okay, so your pen is your friend. I don't want you to type this into your computer. I want you to pick up your pen and a piece of paper, old school, and write it out. And expand on it. Allow yourself to expand on it. What did it feel like? Oh my God, it felt so good. I saw these beautiful purple flowers. I saw people. I saw this. I saw that. If you see buildings, describe them. What did that building mean to you? What does that person mean to you? What did that place mean to you? Write it down. Use your senses. Make it that this actually happened to me. Remember, your subconscious does not know the difference between real and fake. This is why I tell people don't watch the news. Okay, because you're traumatizing your body. Why can a child go and pick up a gun and shoot people in a school and not, and it's nothing to them to do that? Because they spend their time on video games, killing people on video games, and they're excited about it because they're playing a game. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between real and fake. So what's the difference between a joystick and a gun? Okay, so nothing to the subconscious. Okay, they're creating values and beliefs. You should not let your children watch these games, okay, and play these games. It's not a good thing. So Now, you watch a movie, it's fake, but you react to it, right? You cry if it's sad, you laugh if it's funny. You know that this is not a real thing. These are a bunch of actors playing a part. You know this. Okay? Consciously, you know this, but subconsciously you don't. So you are reacting to it. Okay? There's an actual physical reaction to this. All right? Same thing. Okay? So you're writing about this thing, this imaginary, this place that you've imagined, this amazing future that you've imagined for yourself, this life that you want to be living, and what it looks like, and how you walk in this life, and how you talk in this life, and how you feel in this life, and how amazing this life is. And feel it, and feel the love that you have, and the empowerment that you have, and the joy that you have in this life. And then write about it. And then write about it. So not only did you imagine it, but now you're putting pen to paper. You are making this a real thing. Okay? You can do this. So I didn't come on yesterday because I went into a meditation that kind of took on a life of its own, and I needed to stay in it. Okay? So now, I've always, one of my things that I'm creating is a spiritual, I'm thinking of like a mastery school, a school where people can come and learn. Okay. So I am creating this, but I know I wanted this to be something big. Yesterday, when I was in the middle of my manifestation, I didn't just see this as a school. All of a sudden, and I wasn't even thinking it, it kind of just showed up for me. All of a sudden, it was like, this is not a school. This is a campus. I could see it. It was huge. I could see the building. It was massive. I know what it looks like. I could see the windows. All of a sudden, this thing took on a life of its own. And not only was it just a school, it was a campus. It was a place of empowerment. I felt like it was a generator, some place where people would come and be able to use their will, their free will, and create amazing things and healings in this planet. So it was just like, it was this massive place. And I thought, where'd that come from? So, but I just went with it. By the end of it, when I came out of this, I was so grateful and so thankful. I was crying my eyes out. I was like, oh my God. And I was so happy about what I had seen. And that I just couldn't contain the emotion of gratitude. Allow this to happen for yourself. And then I sat and I wrote about it, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote about everything that I saw and everything that I felt and everything that it brought out in me, and how I knew this place, all of a sudden the thoughts started coming to me about how this place even started and how it came to be. And I started filling in the blanks. Now this place, good morning, Barbara. Now this place is being created. I have created this place, and I'm going to go in. I went in this morning again and wrote more about it and started walking the grounds. I think I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So sorry. And started walking the grounds. So now I'm going to go back in again tomorrow, or maybe even tonight or later today. And I'm going to do more in there, because my subconscious, my energy, all of these things don't think about time. They don't say that's a good thought or a bad thought. They just give me whatever I want, whatever I am wired to. So change your wiring. And if you need help with this, there are people like me who can help you do this. I help people with this. This is what we do, right? Don't worry so much about what's happened in your life. Yes, it has caused stuff for you. Now let's talk about cause for a second. And then I'm going to give you guys a chance to sort of absorb all the stuff that I've said to you this morning. There's two ways of thinking, okay? Probably more, but there's two ways that I'm going to bring up to you. There's two ways that you can see this. One, cause and effect. Okay, quantum theory, cause and effect. You do something, something happens. Okay? You don't do something, something happens. For every For everything, there's a cause and effect. Okay? Then there is a different theory of Newtonian, the Newtonian theory. And that is not cause and effect, but causing the effect. Okay? I choose to be in the place where I can cause the effect, where I am the master, where I am using my free will. Most of us have forgotten how to use our free will because we're living our lives in repetition. We're living the same life over and over and over and over and over again. We change a few things every day, but it's kind of the same. All right. So I know that when we think about water, I'm going to compare it to water. We say, take the path of least resistance, go with the flow. I'm going to say, hell no, do not go with the flow. Swim upstream, swim against the flow. Use your will to get you where you want to go. Just don't let it take you. Don't let life just take you. And you just kind of go with it like you have no options, right? You have lots of options. So swim upstream, because when you get to that place that you want to get to, because you swam there, because you got there, there is empowerment in that. There is gratitude in that. There is this joy in that. There's no joy in just going with the flow. Okay, and just letting life take you wherever it happens to go. All right? You're not using your will. You're not using your tools when you do that. Okay, you have lots of tools in your toolbox. You're just not using them. Okay, so not sure how to use them? Then reach out to me. I will teach you how to use them. Okay, don't waste any more time. To cultivate change, we need to create change. But you've already created a bunch of stuff inside this container that you're in, right? You've already created this foundation of the past. You did that. That means that you can undo that and you can create something else. You can do this. And if you want change in your life, then you must do this. You know, when we want to redecorate our homes and renovate our houses, we will do anything. We will spend all kinds of money. We will do to create a space for ourselves that we like to come home to. People, your home is this body, not my body, your body, my body for me, your body for you. That is your home. We can't look for external things to make us internally happy. That's only going to make us happy for a moment. Right? That initial gratitude of your house being renovated the way that you want, or those initial changes, that doesn't happen every day anymore. You know, all of a sudden, yeah, this is my house, right? You have some pride in it, but there's not that, whew, right? We look for things to create instant gratification in us internally. So we're looking outside to make our inside feel better. Wrong. It's the other way around. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Debbie. It's the other way around. You have to be good on the inside. This is what you need to work on. This is what you need to renovate. Your insides. And then your external life begins to really form the way you want it to form. And then it's not going with the flow. You have full control of what's happening. Okay, isn't that what we all want? We want control of our world. We want to be able to master it, make an impact, right? And so then maybe we can impact the world of others if we feel inclined to do so, which I would hope that you do, right? We have been trained to do it backwards. We have been trained to stay in our negativity. We have been trained to live in our past. So if you imagine a speedboat, I want you to imagine a speedboat. There's 3 places you can be sitting on that boat. There are 3 places that you can be sitting on that boat. Most people sit at the back of the boat and they watch the wake, the waves that the boat is creating or has created. Okay? And they stare at it. That's their life. They just stare at the wake. You can't change the waves. Nothing you can do about the waves. The waves are there. There's not one thing you can do to change them. But that's what we look at. So when you live in your past every single day, you're at the back of the boat, staring at the wake, at the things that you can't change. Because they already happened. Or some people sit at the way at the front of the boat. Right? Now our lives are out of control. We don't know what's happening. We're letting other people make decisions for us. We're letting other people decide what we want to be or what we should do or what we should say or what we should wear. So some people are at the front of the boat. They're looking at what's coming, but they're not really doing anything about it. They're just there, watching it. Where you need to be is driving the boat. You need to be driving the boat. Making every decision, moving every lever, pushing every button to get you where you want to go. You need to be driving the boat. So, again, I hope I gave you guys a lot of things to think about today. All right? You can be the creator. We talk about the creator that created this whole universe. But inside each one of us, we are loaded with the creator. It's on full. Are you going to use your superpower? Or are you not going to use your superpower? Are you going to be a creator? Or are you just going to be a survivor? Just existing in this life. These are your choices. These are your choices. Don't wait for tragedy to strike in your life before you change something. That's what most of us do. We wait for the worst thing to happen and then we decide to change something. But then you're changing it with stress and you're struggling. What if you could change it feeling inspired and joyful? Right? There's ways to create change. You're still going to change things. One is going to stress you out because you feel like you have to, and the other way is because you want to. It's very different. It's a different experience. You're making better choices. All right? So just some food for thought. All right? Some things to think about. And I will see you guys on Monday. And hopefully some of you will write to me this weekend. I would like to see some of you guys write to me this weekend. I would like to see some of you write to me, comment, tell me about what you've been trying to manifest, ask me some questions, follow me on my podcast, share this video, do something amazing for yourself. You deserve it. You matter. You are important. No one is more important than you. We're all important and we all matter. No matter what you've been through in this life, no matter what decisions you have made in the past that were not good for yourself or for anyone else, you can change what happens tomorrow. But that's a choice you have to make. And if you need help, everybody needs help. I need help. Sometimes I call people. I called someone last week to help me with something. We all need help. It's okay. That's why you're not living alone on this planet. Reach out. Stop putting blockages in your way and reach out for help. We can always find reasons not to. Whatever we look for, we will find. If you're looking for reasons not to help yourself, you will find them. No doubt about it. every excuse and alibi and reason and whatever, you will find it. I don't doubt that for a minute. But if you look for reasons to help yourself, if you look for value in yourself, if you look for commitment in yourself, you will find that as well. What you look for, you will find. No doubt. All right? So have a fantastic, amazing, creative, manifesting day. And I will see you guys on Monday. Please reach out. Share with me what you feel about even these podcasts. Do you find them helpful for you? You know, are you bringing some of these things into your life? Are you trying some of the stuff that I'm talking about? Right? Or am I talking into the void here? Let me know what's going on. All right. So talk to me. I want to hear from you. Have a fantastic day. Bye.